Hey guys, I'm sorry I'm a little late. I was trying to put together some stuff that I could show you today, and I got a little distracted in terms of time. So I apologize that it took me so long to get started. Um, I wanted to talk to you today about um, well, hot guys and cover art, right? And cover art because I have a new book coming out, so y'all might want to see that. And I have the cover for that so that you guys can enjoy it. But I also wanted to show you kind of the images that are coming for some of the other covers that are in the works. I'm kind of excited to see that the things are changing, that the books are coming a little faster. Good morning, Tanya. Good to see you. I'm glad to have you here. Howdy do. You guys, you have tea? I actually have coffee because it's, hey, Nellie. Afternoon. Good morning, Terry. Good to see y'all. I hope you guys have something warm to drink. It's actually been really warm out in Cheyenne. We got snow a couple days ago, and now it's back to being sunny and like 50 degrees. It's 50 degrees Fahrenheit right now. That's really warm. But I hope y'all are doing good. I hope you have something warm to drink. I wanted to wait for a couple people to show up. Hey, Tanya, just finished yours, and now you have snow. Well, there you go. We have the remnants. That's all that's left. It's not it's it's not as wintry this year. Obviously the climate has shifted and we're kind of in a drought sort of situation because we haven't gotten hardly any snow or any rain. Of course, that might doom us to have a really big like April and May snowstorm. The first year I moved here, they had a snowstorm that showed up on May 2nd and it shut down the highways. I mean, it was like 2 to 3 feet of snow, and it was like, what? It's May. Most of the south of England is on amber alert. Oh no. Is there a kid missing? Oh, not working in my yard. You froze and now it's just spinning. Oh, yeah, I know. It's really strange. Um, we ended up um, getting out a rake yesterday because we have all last year's leaves, some of the last year's leaves that are left. And so we were like, okay, well, let's just rake it up before we get more snow. And it turns to kind of oozy, slimy stuff. And we did a little of that and we had other things to do. Like, I made jam buns. I don't know if you guys know what these are, but they're basically dough and you put a dollop of jam in between and then you crimp the edges and then you bake it in a muffin tin so it kind of looks like these folded fancy things. They aren't fancy, but they look good and they're so tasty. And my husband is just like, can you make those every time we do a coffee thing? Oh, you got your Amber Alerts are warnings for risk of life in the UK. Yeah, here an Amber Alert means there's a missing child. And so, when we go, oh God, there's a kid missing, they put out basically an APB on all points bulletin on the car, the person, the license plate, and then the kid in the description. So, and keep people appraised. But you mean for warnings of risk of life for the snow? Is this late in the year for you guys to get snow in March, or are you guys normally getting snow until like April? We like I said, we get bad snowstorms up until pretty much basically we say you don't get to plan anything until June 1st. Don't plan any outings or camping or any of that till June 1st because in Wyoming it'll snow right up till June 1st. And after that, then summer shows up. We've had it in May before. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, it's been a very dry year. It's been unusually dry here. Montana, where Terry's from, is getting a lot more weather than we are this year. But last year, Worland, which is north of Cheyenne and south of the Montana border, about, I don't know, a third of the way down through the state, they were getting no snow and no rain, and they were just hurting for water. So I don't know if it's shifting around the state or if it's just this is an overall trend. I don't know. Okay, so you guys have heard enough of weather. You guys know weather. You guys live weather. You don't need that, right? What you want is you want to see book covers, right? Okay, so here's the book cover. I don't know if you can see it. There you go. Magic Rising. Oh, you can see all my fingerprints on my tablet. Yay! Yay for fingerprints. Magic Rising comes out on March 22nd. Now, a lot of you have already pre-ordered it. Hey, Terry, you came back. Yay! A lot of you have pre-ordered it. Right now, it's got a woman warrior on the front along with a dragon behind her. It's because there's a lot of fantasy. It's paranormal and fantasy romance. Mine, of course, tends to be more on the paranormal side, but there is a shifter in it. You'll have met this shifter before, especially if you've read any of the Cloudburst stories. But anyway, this tale, Magic Rising, it contains Cloudburst Coffee and Spa. And I will give you guys an opportunity to see the new cover for that too. So, because this is in a box set, right? So the box set comes out and it's in Kindle Unlimited for about 3 months. And then the rights will revert back to me and I will put the book out separate by itself. So you can get the 99-cent version now, pre-order it, and you'll have all the other stories with it. And then at the end it'll come out by itself. And it's 78,000 words. It's a long one. I mean, you're not getting, I'm not skimping on anything. You guys are getting a full story. And this one I started it back in 2000 and I'm just going to say 2012. It might be 2013, but it's around there. And I finished it in 2017 because the muse just wasn't talking to me about it. So, but now it comes out in the box set, and once you get the box set, eventually it'll come out by itself. So that's the cover for the box set. So you know what you're looking for. It's called Magic Rising, a paranormal and fantasy romance limited edition collection. I know, it's a mouthful, but at least you'll know what you're looking for and you won't be like, what did she say? Look for the chick with the dragon. Oh, you now can get, oh, the UK can get Kindle Worlds? Well, that's fantastic, Tanya. Fortunately, I only have 2 books in Kindle Worlds, and my beef with them is that they don't go international. But I'm wondering if they win international, at least so far as if you have Kindle Unlimited. But I don't know. I don't have Kindle Unlimited. I don't normally put my books in there because, anyway, it's not a good thing necessarily for me as an author, so I'm not doing it. That's my choice. But that said, I have another cover I want to show you. Like I said, I told you that I lost the cover. Sorry, it took me a minute to figure out what's going on. The cover will be original by itself. You know, when the book comes out by itself, it'll have its own cover on it. And so I'll let you take a look at this. Ooh boy, over there. There you go. That's the image that's going to come out for the Cloudburst Coffee and Spa when it's by itself. Now, of course, it's not. No, it's not any better, is it? No. When it comes out by itself, then you'll look for this cover. But at the moment, you have to look for the chick with the dragon. You love that cover, isn't it fun? Sorry, here, let me go. Isn't that fun? What I liked is her expression, and I thought he was the sexiest thing I'd ever seen. But the picture in the background, I actually took when on my vacation. We were coming back through Wallace, Idaho. Wallace was the setting for that movie Dante's Peak. So if you've seen Dante's Peak, you've kind of seen parts of Wallace, Idaho. But we were sitting there near the freeway bridges, and I looked at this town and I thought, you know what, this could be Cloudburst. It totally could. So I took a picture of it. And my cover artist, who is a goddess, she took my image of Wallace, Idaho in the summer, added snow, and made it look like Cloudburst. And in my mind, right, the building, you can see the building behind her with the turret, that turret over her head. That to me is the Cloudburst Coffee and Spa, the coffee shop. That's in my head. It's in my head. That's what it is. So anyway, this is a real town. This is a picture of a real town. It is not in Colorado, but it really looks like what I imagine Cloudburst looked like with the mountains in the background and the snow and stuff like that. So isn't that cool? I was so pleased that she actually used a picture that I had taken off of my phone And she manipulated it to look like a little town in Colorado. And to be honest, the little towns in Colorado look a lot like the little towns in Idaho. I mean, they both have the Rocky Mountains. Yeah, they do. Okay, so the last thing I want to show you, since we are talking about hot men, in terms of cover art, right, is I did finally get in touch with my model, and I said, "Can we get your picture? Can we get your picture?" And he said, "Yeah." So we worked it out, and we fooled with it and futzed with it and all this stuff. Look at that. There it is. So you will get this hot guy, which he's dressed all in black. So that's why he's a little harder to see. He's dressed all in black. But you'll get that hot guy on a cover. We'll put his butt on a cover. And then I'm going to use this image. I'm hoping you can see it. No, it's going to be worse. This image. See him with the eyeglasses? He is looking over his glasses at you. Yeah, that's going to be a teaser image. I'm going to put that in there. So there you guys go. You get the images of the hot men on my covers. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. There's just too many really good looking men out there to hold them back and not share. So I'm sharing them with you all. If you haven't, please definitely subscribe to my channel so that we can communicate, so you'll get notifications that I'm here to talk to you and that sort of thing. What I've noticed, though, is the funny thing about the notifications is they come after the stream is done. That's not what I had in mind. But whatever. Okay. The other thing I want to show you, this is the other thing. So y'all probably are familiar with Michael Stokes. Michael Stokes is a photographer who often takes pictures of mostly naked men. And I know this because he got in a lot of trouble. He takes beautiful photos, and he got in a lot of trouble from Facebook because, of course, Facebook is homophobic and generally sexist toward men who don't like looking at other men. They want to look at women. Typical. Which is why I do my live posts over here now, because what if I showed a naked man? Oh, the children. But if you show a naked woman, children don't even enter into it. They're not looking. Deep breaths, it'll be fine. Anyway, so one of the things I did is that periodically Michael puts out a book, and it's a big old picture book. There aren't many words in it. You don't have to be able to read to enjoy this book. And he puts out, some amazing photographs, and some are better than others. And, some they show the extraordinary strength of the male body. And, especially there are those that are really pumped up, like bodybuilders. And there are those that are just in great shape and trim and elegant and stuff like that. My husband says, I don't know why you look at men. They're just so square. And I'm like, square is not how I describe their shoulders or their arms or their ripped bellies and their chests and their thighs. That's not square. Square is not a word I'd use for it. That's not how I describe it. So one of the things I did recently is that Michael was having a sale, and he said, go over here and help support this person and go buy some of these images. And this other photographer took some nice images, but they didn't really, float my boat. It's kind of, yeah, they're beautiful, but no. But I did find this. This is Adonis Blue by Michael Stokes. And of course, you can see mostly naked man, actually completely naked man, but you don't get to see anything that would be considered pornographic. Because, we all are afraid of the male body. There's another picture on the back. Again, you don't get to see anything because, we don't want the men to be afraid. Just don't want the men to be afraid. And so, of course, there are some really lovely photos in here. I am going to only show you the ones that are non-revealing because, otherwise we could all get in trouble. Like, for example, maybe you're a big fan of sports, right? Or you've always loved cop romance. Do you see? There's plenty of good-looking men in here that are perfectly dressed, and it's really funny though. If you look at the whole book, the beginning of the book, the men are most, the private parts are completely covered. The further you go in the book, that's when you start seeing the clothes come off. Someone did an experiment with two women, one breastfeeding, the other eating clothes, yeah, to show nipples. Guess what the outcome was? The same thing is that they have sexualized breasts so much that even women help with that sexist behavior by saying, oh, I don't want to see you feeding a baby. But if your breasts are exposed and you wearing a sexy little top or a baby doll, everyone's like, you're hot, but you, lady, are pornographic. Yeah, there is no logic in it. And until people start calling out and going, oh, sit yourself down before you hurt yourself. You do know those are actually for feeding babies, right? Oh no, you haven't come to that description yet? Go have sex, get pregnant, you'll see. Trust me. So yeah, it's a big thing where people don't really understand the true nature of what breasts are for, and they've sexualized it so much that, like, I think I saw a political cartoon one time where a woman was breastfeeding right out in front of a Victoria's Secret, like, lingerie shop. And she's breastfeeding, and she's sitting there with the baby, and she's not exactly got both breasts out. She's one's covered and one's baby feeding. And the security guard goes, "Ma'am, you can't do that here. We don't allow that kind of pornographic action." Right behind her is a big billboard of a woman with her breasts pretty much falling out of her bra, but the bra is okay, baby feeding is not. And it was extraordinary to me to see how men and women are so sexualized to believe that looking at women's breasts is okay as long as you don't have a baby attached. It's just a little weird, but God, when I said it like that, it's even weirder. Anyway, so yes, that the outcome was disappointing, which just means that we need to work on, if you have children, work on desensitizing them toward the body, meaning it's okay to see yourself naked. It's okay to interact with your body in private by yourself. That's okay. There are certain situations you don't want to whip your body out. In public is not a good idea. Don't do it in a movie theater. Don't do it at a family dinner. Don't do it in the mall. But, in the privacy of your own home, do whatever. We do live in weird times. And Anne Mayburn was talking about this, and she showed a video of how to talk to your kids about masturbation. I was like, really? Okay. And the biggest thing that they came across was that, look, don't embarrass your kid. They're alone. If they're alone in their room doing their own thing, don't embarrass them. Let them do because really what they're doing is trying to figure out their own body. And if you're not afraid of your body, they shouldn't be afraid of theirs. Now, if you catch them doing it, just back out slowly and close the door. You don't have to watch. And you don't have to call them on it. If they do it for a long shower, she recommended maybe saying, okay, you get a half an hour, but after that, you're using the water up for everybody else. So it was kind of an interesting video. And I said, you know what's really interesting about this video is it would be really good for adults to learn, not just kids. This is not just for the adults to learn how to talk to kids about masturbation, but it's also good for the adults to realize, hey, it's okay for you too, as long as you do it in private. How hard is this to understand? So it's been interesting, and my own kids, I have kids, I've been talking to them about sexuality and kind of their bodies and stuff like that, because they're both heading into the teenage years, and I don't want them to be caught flat-footed or scared, going, oh my God, what's my body doing? I want them to be, I've already done this, been there, done that, got the t-shirt, So I want to make sure that they're totally aware that their bodies are normal. And the older kid, is kind of like, oh, okay. The younger kid's still like, I'm not really ready to talk about this. Fair enough. But, yeah, and rinse your eyes with bleach after. That's right, Tanya. Yeah. So, the idea here is if we're okay with our bodies and we're more relaxed with our bodies, then dealing with our kids figuring out their bodies is good too. And and trying to be like, oh, so that's what you're doing. All right, just don't do it in public. The rest of it is kind of like, it's totally normal. Hey, Bern, can we give the t-shirt back? Yes, I would like to. I don't, although it's been funny. My kid is starting to get some of the hormonal changes, that we went through back in the day. And she's like, I don't know why I'm crying. And I'm like, I do. and she's all like, it sucks. And I'm like, yes, it does. And it's totally normal. Can we give the t-shirt back? I wish. I really wish. Anyway, part of this also was like, to my kid, I was saying, look, you can look at these pictures because it's totally normal to look at pictures. And whatever you feel about looking at them is totally normal too. You just gotta be, kind of do it in private. And as long as you don't act on those feelings, feeling them is fine. It's what you choose to do with them that makes the difference, right? And so I was like, you can look at them and you can feel whatever, but try to keep things, your private stuff is your private stuff, and I'm good with that. We have to explain body shaming. Everyone is different. We're all beautiful no matter what. And to be honest, Bern, I think even when we were kids, there was a lot of body shaming, and we just weren't aware of it enough to say, hey, that's not okay. Because, even when I was growing up, everybody kind of made fun of the fat kids. Do you see? It's always been there. But until we have really gotten the internet where everyone can really, harp on it, nobody did anything about it because, it was just the fat kids. Well, yeah, it's always been there. And it's never going to change until, telling you the interesting thing about never going to change. It will change, but it only changes when it hurts bad enough. People don't change until it affects them and it hurts bad enough. Kind of like the political situation in the U.S. It won't change until it hurts bad enough. And I don't know when that's going to hurt bad enough because it already hurts bad enough for me. But, it's something I learned from my first boyfriend, actually. He said, Siobhan, people don't change until it hurts bad enough. And he was really right. And I hated to admit it, but he really was right, that people don't change their lifestyle, their eating habits, their exercise, how they interact with people, how they treat women, how they treat children, how they treat men, how they treat everybody until it hurts bad enough to make them change. And that's where it's kind of like one of those, I don't really want to do self and introspection, but I'm going to have to. And even I have learned some things like, oh, that was badly done on my part. And I wasn't aware of it because I didn't become aware of it until now. And it's kind of like, oh, I think I'll stop doing that. I'm choosing to change. Not easy, not fun, not very nice feeling, but changing, it takes effort. And a lot of people, to be honest, are really lazy and they don't want to change, but it might be worth it. Now, there are certain things you're going to go, no, I'm not going to change that. Get over yourselves. But on other things, you're like, oh yeah, maybe I should be aware of that. And, the big thing is to see it. Another friend of mine said, well, the fish don't see the water, do they? And I realized what she meant is people who are swimming in the privilege, who are, like me, white skin, and, men in particular, because they're, above women in this regard. They don't see the problem. When someone says this is a problem and they're like, it's not a problem, doesn't happen to me. The fish don't see the water. Hey, Mary, welcome. So, and that's kind of like, it's learning to see the water, learning to see what changes you can make for you, to help others. I don't know. It's a process and it's a learning thing. And I'm learning. I'm doing the same thing. Like, oh, yeah, maybe that's not a good idea. Maybe I should change that. It's part of I'm growing up. I'm learning. So that's where I'm at, is that I am trying to learn. and improve myself for me too, and my family. One of the main things that I'm trying to break though is the body shaming and the self body shaming too. So I refuse to let my daughters look at themselves and go, I'm too skinny, I'm too fat, I'm too this, I'm too that. And I'm like, no, no, you don't get to do that. You don't get to measure yourself with someone else's yardstick. You are the expert in you. You are are what you need to be. If you feel like you're overweight, all right, what are you going to change? You're going to change your eating habits, you're going to change your exercise, whatever. Do whatever's right for you. I had a friend online, and she was like, hey, Siobhan, I noticed you've been releasing weight. Tell me what you've done. And so I told her kind of what I was doing. And she's like, okay, I'll take that to my doctor, but we'll see. She went to her doctor. The doctor said, don't do that. It wouldn't work for her. And that's okay. So she started a different sort of program to help herself get better. But like I said, she can't use my yardstick. My yardstick fits me. Her yardstick fits her. And she's, in cahoots. She's in cahoots with her doctor. So we are made the way we are. Exactly. Now we can screw that up by, not eating right or whatever. But it's only up to us to make ourselves, feel better physically, and we can only do what's right for us. I have a friend who runs marathons. Yeah, there's no way in hell you're going to get me to run a marathon. Nope, I'm not going to do that. But for her, that's something that gives her pleasure and helps her maintain her weight. Me, I'm looking at her like, no. But I can do some other things that make me healthy and keep me going and stuff like that. And that's important for you to know. It's between you, your doctor, and that's where you go. You do what you need to do. And, I went to the doctor and I got some news that was going like, oh, so I knew I had to change. It hurt bad enough, right? I had to change. So anyway, that's kind of where I went. I went off on a tangent. That's neither hot cover art or hot men. Well, there you go. It makes you look hot. How's that? It makes you look sexy and beautiful. And for you, you don't have to impress me. Impress you. That's, I guess, the biggest thing is I want you to impress you. What makes you feel good? What makes you look beautiful to you? What makes you feel good about, do you like to wear heels? Wear heels. Do you like to wear corsets? Wear corsets. Do you like to wear lingerie? Wear lingerie. You don't want to wear any of that because you think you look hot stuff in t-shirts and sweats? Go for it. But necessary, right? I look at people inside, yeah, and let me tell you, Tanya, some of those folks that are beautiful on the outside aren't very pretty on the inside. They're feeling so icky on the inside that the beauty on the outside is a thin veneer. As we age, what works for us changes. Right, exactly. You just need to keep up and keep at it. I know. I don't wanna burn. I don't wanna. Yes, very nasty. And you know what? People who have been told they're pretty on the outside haven't made a lot of effort sometimes on the inside, right? They've been so used to showing the beauty on the outside, they didn't work on the stuff on the inside. And for those of us who have felt not so gorgeous on the outside, the stuff inside we've worked on because, well, we have to live with this person all the time. We might as well like them. I do. I like myself. I'm not so worried about the body on the outside, although I have a hot guy that I got to keep interested, so I'm making some health efforts for that. But I like the person on the inside, and that makes me write better romance too, because I can deliver some of the things I like to the heroines and heroes. You think I do? I've got some years on you. It isn't fun, and sometimes it just hurts. I know. I'm right there with you, Bern. It does hurt sometimes, and which is why it's harder for me to convince myself to keep at it, right? Why would I do something that hurts? Because you need to. Liking yourself is important. Be the best you can be from the inside out. That's very true. My mother gave me this when I was a kid. She gave me this poster, right? I was back in the 80s, right? And so Garfield, the orange cat from Jim Davis cartoon, he was big in the 80s, right? So my mother gave me this poster of Garfield that had Garfield plus Garfield, right? There were two Garfields walking down this trail, and it said, "Be your own best friend." And I thought, good God, Mom, seriously? And she would quote that back to me. Be your own best friend, Siobhan. Be your, like, ah! The spouse pointed out he wants me around for a long haul. Exactly, Mary. That's what Mr. SM says to me. As long as you do it for yourself and not others. Well, Tanya, the reason I'm doing it is because of my health. If I don't do it for my health, I will get very sick and it'll be even harder. So I'm trying to do the hard stuff now, so it's not as hard. But she sent me this post. She gave me this poster of Be Your Own Best Friend. I had the two Garfields together. And what she meant is, like yourself. Find the person on the inside that you like and be that, because others will end up liking that too. And it was a really good lesson, even though I hated her repeating it because it was annoying. And she's a psychotherapist. She's a psychologist. And she would help people. And so she was like, oh, Siobhan, be your own best friend. I'm like, I'm going to kill you. Because she's my mother. Make each moment special. Enjoy each day. Right. And who do you have to live with? You have to live with this person. You're a person. You have to like that person. And that's important to do. And if you don't like that person, what is it you need to change about you so you can like this person? And a lot of people don't go that, well, you have to be nice. You have to do this. Well, yes, but can you start with this person? It's hard to get other people to love you if you don't love you. I know it seems kind of self-centered and totally opposite what they teach you in church. But if you don't love this person, no one else is going to love this person either. So that's kind of where that goes. And, the health choices are, I don't want to die. So I'm going to do some efforts. But yeah, so we were talking about hot men, right? Where did we get on this? But Sunday morning is kind of like one of those things where I'll just talk about anything. You ask me a question and I'll, because I talk. Oh, I do want to tell you guys that I am officially going to the Wild Wicked Weekend in February of 2019 in San Antonio, Texas. So if you want to see me in person and not just on a screen, that's where I'll be. And I'll be signing books, and I will actually have paper books that you can get your hands on. I also want to let you know that the pre-order is coming up. It will be released on March 22nd. The price will go up after a week. So if you want it for the 99-cent price. The other thing I wanted to tell you is I'm planning on raising my prices a little because the market is changing and there seems to be a trend where people look at us as like, well, if it's priced low, then it's obviously not good. So they don't buy it, or they just were like, I'll just get the free ones. Well, that's fine. You can do that. But we're starting to see a trend that it might be better to change the prices. So my prices are going to go up, I think, in April. So keep that in mind. I would love to come to the UK, Tanya. I would love to. I haven't figured out how to get across the pond yet. Because I actually have friends that I knew before I became an author in the UK, and I would like to see them as well as see my readers. So yes, I would like to come. I thought I was going to come in 2018, and it didn't work out. There was too much going on, and I have to stay in country this year. So I was going to come, Tanya, I was, but it didn't work out. So I'm always on the lookout to see if I can get my whole family over to the UK, because they've never seen that part of the world, and so it would be cool to get them over there too. But I've been trying to get over there for a couple of years now, so I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I'm hoping next year, 2019, might be a little more calm. 2018 has had a lot of family trips that in 2017 too that needed to be taken care of. My grandmother's 98 years old, and so she's getting close to checking out, and so we don't know when she's going to leave. And we kind of have to, kind of like, okay, do we go or do we stay? So I know I love the fact that there's a load of different signings up in the UK. I think that's awesome. I'm so glad you guys, and you have a lot of authors over there too, which is awesome. So at least you're not, without authors, but I haven't been able to get across the pond. I'm working on it. I'd like to. All right. Well, that's my news for the day. Now it's back to more creative things. I'm reading about wolves right now, and then I will be working on dragons. I promise I'm working on dragons. Dragons should be the next book that comes out, but we'll see. Maybe Deli yanks the rug out from under me and says, "No, you're writing about me." Okay, I'll do that. Anyway, have a great day. Have a good weekend. I hope the weather allows you to get out a little bit. If it doesn't, I hope you've got a nice cozy fire to sit next to and read. That's a good idea. And I'm always grateful for all you people that come and join me in the morning. Fragons go to you mean dragons go to Delhi. Well, I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a good weekend. And I'll see you next week for the Saturday Evening Soliloquy on SMTV, sponsored by YouTube. 4 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Mountain, 6 p.m. Central, and 7 p.m. Eastern. So I'll see you tomorrow, next weekend. And I'll see you around. I'll be around on the interwebs. Definitely look for my writing on my blog because I periodically put snippets up so you'll get little bits of writing. And I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.